There are 3 simple facts you can deny whoever you are, and these are: science works, customers are people, and Nietzsche has a really nice mustache. Now, because science works and customers are people, we need to understand psychology, or at least the basics of psychology, so we can understand our customers really well and make design decisions based on, well, you guessed it.
Yes, science!
Today we talk about the prospect theory and how can we apply this theory on your website. Let's start with an experiment. Which of the following you prefer? You have 80% probability of getting $4,000 or 100% probability of getting $3,000. I'll give you some seconds to think. If you're like most people, you probably chose B. That's because when faced with a risky choice that could lead to a gain, people tend to be risk-averse, meaning they avoid risk.
Why are you running?
Let's redo the same experiment, but let's just switch a gain with a loss. Which of the following you would prefer? 80% probability of losing $4,000 or 100% probability of losing $3,000? What would you choose? Again, I'll give you some seconds. In this case, people chose A. So you probably did that too, because when faced with a risky choice that could lead to a loss, people tend to be risk-seeking. There are more experiments and more conclusions with beautiful math equations in the scientific paper by Daniel Kahneman, who won the Nobel Prize thanks to this theory, and Amos Tversky. But now we'll try to explore the biases from this theory that can explain how do people make decisions when dealing with risk. So these biases are the certainty effect, and that's when we've seen people avoiding risk and choosing the $3,000 with 100% probability rather than the $4,000 with 80% probability. The second one is loss aversion, and that is that people prefer avoiding losses than getting an equal gain. In fact, losses are twice powerful as gains. So if you lose $100, for example, you'd feel loss much more than when you feel gain when winning $100. The last bias is the isolation effect, which is something we'll discuss in a future video. Now, how can we apply all this good knowledge to the website you have? A good way, I think, of applying this is to think, do I need my customer to seek risk or avoid risk? If you have a SaaS app, for example, you need people to seek risk, which is to switch from a competitor app. A great example for this comes from Basecamp. Here, they compare a bunch of project management tools that Basecamp can replace. If they don't, they will continue to lose money on different apps. And when faced with losses, people tend to be risk-seeking. There's also an anchoring bias taking place here, and a whole story of how Basecamp is an all-in-one project management tool. So it's not just the loss that will encourage the switching, but it's a really good actor. Another example comes from Facebook. When deactivating your account, they show you a couple of photos of your friends saying that these people will miss you. Aww. And this worked. That actually prevented 1 million people from leaving the service. That is the power of loss aversion. You can also see the application of loss aversion in apps that use streaks. Duolingo, for example, uses a streak system. Learners like myself didn't want to lose their streaks, so I kept using it every day for weeks and weeks and weeks. Sometimes also you can gamble with lingo, so if you make a 7-day streak, you win double the rewards, but if you lose by not using it one day, you also lose the lingos you gamble. And yes, there are obvious applications of the theory in gambling and insurance companies, but we're not going to talk about them today. Or never. So if you want more knowledge about psychology and how you can apply it on your website, well, join us in this journey, subscribe to the channel, and see you next week.